Hi, it's the Lipstick Gal. Thank you so much for watching today. I am excited to get into my thoughts on the new Prada concealer. I also picked up a new highlight from Kosas. I wanted to show both of these to you. I'm trying to slow my roll on new purchases just a little bit. I feel like I've been buying a lot of new stuff. I recently did a video where I was trying on a full face of new drugstore makeup. If you haven't seen it, I'll link it for you here and the description box down below. I'm really kind of waiting for things to reach out and kind of grab my attention. I'm trying not to just get like everything. I know it seems like that's kind of hard to do sometimes. If you're at all like me and you really love makeup, it can be hard to kind of wait and stop. Since I'll be talking about the new Prada concealer today, let's pair it with the Prada foundation. This is when I realized I don't have the Prada powder. Oops. I wear the shade LN5 in the Prada foundation, and I'm just going to put some on the back of my hand. I really love the way this foundation looks on my skin. It tends to do a really good job of evening out pigmentation and redness. And I am going to take just a damp sponge and just kind of go all over the top here. Just make sure I'm pressing everything into the skin, just to get a good clean canvas ready to see how the new concealer sits. Now, truth be told, I have been wearing this concealer for a while. Been wearing it for several days now, and I have some thoughts, which so far, spoiler, I like it. I like it. I don't know that I got the right shade. I wish that Prada had put out like a chart that says if you wear this shade in the foundation, this is your shade in the concealer. That would have been super helpful. And that was not the case. So I just had to guess. And I went with what looked like the lightest shade of neutral. I feel like I can make it work, but it's a little bit lighter than I would normally like, but you'll see. You'll see. All right, so the full name of this is the Prada Conceal Blurring Micro Correcting Concealer. I have the shade LN1. They didn't have something that was like LN5. They didn't have an equivalent to the shade that I already have in the foundation. One thing I do like about this is that there is a custom doe foot applicator on here. It's a little triangle shape. It doesn't pick up a lot of product, which I think is great, because then you're not putting too much on. You're getting just what you need in the areas that you need it. And I'm going to start just with this. I always like to tap it out a little bit just to distribute the color, and then blend with a brush. This brush, by the way, is from Rougher. This is the B05 brush. One thing that I like about this so far, I've been wearing it for several days now, is that it's a kind of lightweight, medium coverage where I don't feel like I'm getting too much coverage where I don't want it, but it blends beautifully with your finger, with a sponge, with a brush. As a $48 concealer, but the time you pay tax and everything else, it's 50 bucks. If you're wondering if this is worth $50, I would say it's a good concealer, but only you know whether it's going to be worth that price to you. And the reason that I say that is not everybody is okay paying luxury prices. This is certainly a luxury priced product, because $50 for a concealer, but I really like it. Now, if luxury prices don't scare you, I think it's beautiful. Here's what I like about it. I wore this one day where this was all I wore for coverage. I just dotted it where I needed it, under the eyes, hyperpigmentation spots, redness around the nose, and I blended it in with a damp sponge. And I had the most beautiful face of makeup. And I didn't set my face that day with any powder, not under the eyes. And I normally put a powder underneath the eyes. I'm going to do that today. But what I like is that it's been a little bit, and I don't see it instantly settling into like fine lines or creases. I think it looks really, really nice. I also like that I'm getting just the right amount of coverage without it looking heavy. Sometimes the older I get, the more high coverage a product is, the more it looks like I'm wearing heavy makeup. And I don't want that. I don't want something that's going to draw attention to the fine lines and texture I have underneath my eyes. I don't want anything that's going to sit heavy and weird on top of my hyperpigmentation spot. You can still just barely see it, but it's so reduced, like I don't really feel like I have to worry about it. I like the way this sits on my face. I like the way that it wears. I like that it's lightweight. And so for me, it was worth it at $48. But you have to ask yourself if there is a price limit for a concealer for you. Some people, it's like the $30 mark. This is a really beautiful and very elegant concealer. The one thing that's different though is that the foundation is refillable. So this plastic container here is what you put the glass sleeve into the cap, and they look identical. They both, have the gold Prada square around them. They have the debossing on the top here. Everything about this is beautiful, only she's not refillable. So you're paying in the $70 range for the foundation and you get the refill for less. But this, every time you go and purchase, it's $48. So that's just something to keep in mind. All right. I do really like it. I do think for me it's worth it, but you're going to have to ask yourself, am I okay paying $48 for a concealer? Now, I have concealers that cost more than that, like the one from Sarah Creel that I absolutely adore. This one is beautiful. It works both as all over kind of foundation concealer, where you just use it, dab it where you need it, blend it in, and you're good to go. It works well with this foundation. It works well with other foundations. I've tried it with a drugstore foundation. It just is beautiful. It sits nicely. It's not too heavy. It's just enough. All right, I'm going to put on some more makeup and I'll be back because the only other thing I have to show you is this. Now that I have the rest of my face on, let's touch everything up with a little bit of highlight. This is new from Kosas. This is their Shiny Objects Powder Highlight. I have it in the second lightest shade in Haloed, and it looks like this. It is so beautiful. This is good for face and for eyes. I drenched myself in this the other day and I was just like, the whole day I was looking at myself in the mirror going, ooh, look how shiny I am. Loved it. Loved it. So I'm going to grab my highlighter brush and I'm just going to quickly load up and knock off a little bit of this. Hit the high points of my face. Now I'm going to take a smaller brush and I'm going to grab some of this and I'm going to pop it right in the center of my lid for just a little bit of light. And just kind of dab it in. Wow. This is great. You can use this anywhere on the face. It's basically been marketed as like an eye shadow and a highlight. And I feel like it works really well for highlighting like the inner corner. Like, look at that. That is just insane. I'm going to knock everything off the brush and then just kind of sit there and blend it in so it's not as conspicuous. This is one of those rare powder highlights that actually sits lovely on the skin. Now, without smiling, you don't see my crow's feet. When I do smile, you can see them. And it does bring a little bit more attention to them, but not in a, I don't think in a bad way. I think, you know, I've got crow's feet and I highlight that area of my face. And when I smile really big and you see it, it doesn't kill me. It doesn't kill me. It doesn't bother me at all. But what I like is that this doesn't bring any additional texture right into this area. It still has a really pretty wet look to it, but it doesn't end up looking glittery. I tried in store the new NYX Buttermelt stick highlighters. Those had so much glitter that it was absolutely impossible for me to feel like I wasn't putting on Claire's makeup. I was like, nope, this is not for me. Too much glitter in these guys. But this one is just that perfect wet look. And it looks beautiful on the lid. It doesn't bring any additional texture on my lids. It also just looks great on the skin. I really have been liking this. I think that both of these were a great purchase for me, even though she's a little expensive. She sits great under the eyes. My under eyes look really, really nice. And I have really been liking this highlight. I think that those are some of the best new things I've purchased recently. And I like that this is not like a first impressions. I've been using them for about a week now and I know exactly how I feel about them. And I can safely say if you like the same sorts of things that I do, you would probably like these as well. It's just a matter of, are you willing to spend your hard-earned dollars on that Prada concealer? Because she's a little on the expensive side. Hey, thanks so much for watching today. Here's where I want to know, are you into these luxury concealers? There's a new one from Chanel. There's this new one from Prada. There is a new one from Charlotte Tilbury. There are a lot of brands coming out with new concealers. What are your thoughts? What's catching your attention? For me, as Little Miss Prada, had to try it, had to have it. And I think she's beautiful, especially now that I've used it for more than a week. I know how it wears. I know what I can do, what its limits are. It wears beautifully all day. I really, really like it. And for me, it was worth that nearly $50 mark. And this surprised me. I was expecting not to like it. I was expecting it not to work on my mature skin. But I love that I can use it like a light wash all over the lid and it doesn't bring any accentuation to kind of like the crepey situation that my eyes have now that I'm getting older, and that it looks so pretty on the skin without looking glittery and adolescent. It's a beautiful, beautiful highlight. Let me know what your thoughts are and if anything has been catching your attention. I hope you have a wonderful day. Thanks for making the time to watch today, and I will see you again soon. Bye.